Hey y'all, happy Magic Action Monday. And today is a big celebration for me because this is the 52nd Magic Action Monday video that I've created and shared within about a year's time. And so what I want to share with you today is 10 ways that I made that happen. And I want you to imagine or envision, while I'm sharing these 10 ways, your own creative project. And just kind of insert your creative project where this video project has happened for me. So how did this happen? And how did this happen, more importantly, in a way that felt doable and meaningful and joyful? Because that's always the goal for me, is to help people move their creative dreams out of their head and into the world in a way that feels doable, meaningful, and joyful. So number one, give yourself permission. This seems so simple. It seems so simple that people pass it by often. You really need to give yourself permission before you can do anything. So I gave myself permission to experiment with this concept of a weekly video, which leads me to tool number 2. Be good enough with good enough. When you give yourself permission to truly be good enough with good enough rather than perfect, and I use perfect in air quotes because there's really no such thing as perfect, you get shit done, actually. So for example, I own a fancy lighting kit. It's super big. It has those big white thingies. I don't even know what they're called. They're supposed to help with the light and make it look professional and everything. And I have not used them once in all the 52 videos. That's not to say that someday I may not actually set those up and use them. But for right now, my ring light on my phone has been good enough. If I had waited and told myself I couldn't begin until I learned how to set all that up and use it properly, who knows, I might not even have done one of those videos yet. Number 3, serve somebody. Hold the thought, someone out there needs this from me today. So whether it's content or whether it's art that you're creating or something you're writing or a song that you want to record or something that you want to sell, all of those things, do it with the thought of serving somebody, that there's somebody out there on the planet, that there's at least one person who needs and wants it. And my philosophy, and my clients know this, if there's 1, there's 10, if there's 10, there's 100, if there's 100, there's 1,000. We live on a planet of 7 billion. Number 4, calendar and commit. Commit a certain amount of time. It can be a small amount of time or a certain amount of days or something to your creative endeavors. It's a super effective way to prioritize, right? So it was kind of easy for me, right? Once I came up with the concept of Magic Action Mondays, it was like, it needs to happen on Monday. That was very helpful to me. And with a lot of the people that I work with, it is helpful to have either a day of the week or amount of times that they're going to show up for, even if it's just 2 or 3 times for 15 minutes. It's consistently moving forward, and you're just prioritizing your creativity by committing to it and somehow putting it on a calendar or knowing that it's going to happen on a weekly basis. And when you do it, you come to number 5, do it your way. Do it the way, find a way that works for you and just start there. We often think that there's a right way and a wrong way to do things. And even if that is not true, and we wait for the right way or the wrong way, and spoiler alert, there's actually not a right way or a wrong way, especially when it comes to your personal creative endeavors. So whether that means, that you do things like dreaming about it, journaling about it, talking about it incessantly, but not actually doing it because you're waiting for this right or perfect way to appear to you, stop doing that. Just do it. We live in the age of information. You can find no less than 1,000 people who are going to tell you their best way to do things, and that's fine. So for example, for me, if I had listened to like a social media expert who said you must batch your videos, you must, batch your content in order to be proficient or whatever with it, it didn't work for me. I do mine on Monday mornings every week. That's just the way I do it right now. Not to say again that someday I might not batch the hell out of content, but right now this is what's working for me. Number 6, give for the joy of giving. especially when creating content, right? Creating content should always be done from the spirit of giving without any expectations. So it shouldn't be like, I'm going to create this post, this blog post, this podcast, this video, and therefore somebody should take an action immediately for it. Like I should be paid back from the universe or from people. No. Just give with joy, create with joy, and the belief that there's, again, at least one person out there who needs or wants what you're creating. This really helps you put your work out into the world kind of with unconditional love. You love somebody unconditionally. That means you don't wait for them to give you something back. You just love them. And that's the way it should be with our creativity. Just put that creative love out into the world, and I promise you it's going to come back to you. Number 7, follow your curiosity. Allow yourself to start the question, I wonder what would happen if, or I wonder if I did this, what would happen? And I guarantee you it will take you good places. Many a topic for my videos have started with the question, I wonder what would happen if. Number 8, use constraints. Give yourself some sort of constraint to lower pressure and lower expectations. So for me, it's doing these videos in one take. I may have started at the beginning doing more than one take, and I thought, nope, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do one take. It's going to be good enough. People are going to see that I'm human, that I have glares in my glasses sometimes, but what I have to say is more important than this looking somehow perfect. So using a constraint. I have another client who says, I have to do my video within 15 minutes because otherwise I'll take 3 hours to do it. That's great self-awareness, and it's really helped her to actually create wonderful videos and share them with people so the people can be helped. So that's the 8th one, use constraints. Number 9, give yourself some grace. If you miss a week, if you miss one of your scheduled creative times, if you somehow drop the ball on your creative project, that's okay. Just press restart. You can start again at any moment. You can do it for me, it might be the next Monday, it might be the next day, it could be the next hour. But rather than taking the time and energy to beat yourself up and remind yourself how you screwed up and you dropped the ball and you didn't do it correctly, don't do that. Just give yourself grace, press reset, and start again and get that creativity going. That's what we need in the world. Which brings me to number 10, which is have fun with it. Whatever your creative endeavor, whatever your creative endeavor, the more ways you can have fun with it and add joy to the process, the more likely you are to show up consistently for it. And quite frankly, the more likely your people are to feel that energy in whatever it is that you're creating and putting out into the world. Truthfully, I just loved the way Magic Action Monday sounded. It sounded like I liked the alliteration of it, and I had been using and teaching the Magic Action planning process for a long time. I consider when we show up in the world using some of the techniques that I have to make our creative dreams happen, that it feels like magic, and that's why I call it Magic Action. I have a Magic Action list every day rather than a to-do list. It's just more fun to have a Magic Action list than a to-do list. And so I kind of thought, well, what would be a fun way to help people each week? Creating a short video. That might be a fun way to help people. So that's it. Those are my 10 ways that I was able to create 52, hopefully entertaining and informative videos over the course of just a little over a year in a way that felt doable, meaningful, and joyful. I'd love to invite you to join me for my next Magic Action Masterclass, which is happening October the 26th. Which is End Overwhelm, Find Creative Flow, 3 Simple Steps, where I'm really walk you through the Magic Action planning process in detail, and you can apply it to your creative dreams and see how that can help you to show up consistently. And then also, these 10 techniques and tools that I shared today on this video and that I used myself over the past year, because I always want to practice what I preach and I always want to be an example of what is possible. These are just a snapshot of the tools that I use within my one-on-one Creative Oasis coaching program. So if you are ready to dive in and to show up week after week and really prioritize your creative dreams, move them out of your head into the world and make them happen in a way that feels doable and meaningful and joyful, then please schedule a complimentary Creative Oasis clarity call. We can get on the phone and talk about how within my program, Coaching One-on-One, we can make that happen. Okay? All of this is shared, as always, with the true belief that when you get the help that you need to turn your creative dreams into reality, that you are going to be a happier, healthier, more fulfilled human, and the world is going to be a better place. Okay, that's it. Happy 52nd Magic Action Monday.